I had this puzzle that was left for me. There's a woman. I've been seeing her. It is not a big deal. She just adores me. It's fine. But there was a puzzle that was left, and it was not left for her, I don't think.
Must be nice.
And it gave me this key. She said it was for the Opal Field, the performance hall, I guess. And she said it was for a patron's box. What's happening?
It's gonna be a vaudeville hall.
What's that?
It's like, I don't know, body. Where they're like, we're gonna dance and sing, but also make some sex jokes and stuff.
What's that? So like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Sure. That's it.
I don't know if you want to come with me. I'm going to investigate it.
Let's go!
I think we still need to
What are we doing about
discuss-
Professor Knack?
Yes.
That will fix itself
I think
later.
we
Let's
need
go to the
Why can't we split up?
But I don't
You
want
and
to.
Daphne
I have this
with the
strange
basement.
feeling that this is going to provide us with a way into the fucking king's realm, whatever.
Well, I
Wait,
suppose
where
we
exactly
have-
are we going?
The open fields?
Where are we going?
I don't know of it.
Oh yeah, the Opal Field, the performing hall. Yes.
Oh, I'm.
I love how Claudius is always like reads the situation and he's like,
Yeah, that's
me too! I know what that is!
I'm from Duran.
I'm just
Yes.
saying the professor said that he usually only sees 2 to 3 people for the ad that he puts out. It doesn't have to be all of us.
But I want to get XP too.
You can get XP in other places as well. Like having this conversation
I
right
know
now.
the Opal Fields.
That's not true.
You've slipped into the space between worlds.
It's
Remember
a
his death.
delicate balance between performers and patrons and
A little bit of this.
people getting money and people
It's a bit harmonica.
paying money, and
I love you.
it's incredibly tedious. It's,
You're a good mood.
in my experience, they exploit people. That's not everyone's view, that's my view. But
So it's a beauty pageant.
a skill pageant, if you're really skilled, you'll get in. And if you're not,
You should have money.
you should have money.
Duran's got talent!
Well,
A lot of pleasant memories.
Well, I suppose we've got time till we have to make a final decision about Shady McShadesters and Professor Knack. So,
is it somewhere that operates mainly at night?
Yeah, it is.
Nick's making up the lore as you go. Yeah, totally, it really is.
when did we
I mean,
have?
in the
We had till
morning,
tomorrow
only.
to confirm with.
So like today, yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh, this is the daytime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we passed
this-
every night.
So it was
Oh.
nighttime, she went and spent the night with Benevolence. The next
Aw.
morning, that's what happened.
Shoot, I lost track of that time.
It's no
So,
longer a big. It's the second day.
well, how many people can you even take in with that box of yours?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. And from, well, I don't think I would have to have a skill to perform if I had a key, right?
I mean, if you're a patron, you're not performing, you're...
So this would mean that I get in without having to perform.
Yeah.
So perhaps this might be useful. Perhaps some of us go with you, and perhaps some of us go and see Professor Knack, and then only some of us are going to the secret vault, and the other half of us that aren't could still sneak in, and they wouldn't have blackmail on them. And then if you find something valuable where you go, that's great, and if we find something valuable where we go, that's great, and if not, either way, you know, it's like a go-go gadgets happenings.
What's that?
I mean, one way or another, I don't believe that taking up Professor Knack on his offer. More accurately, I don't believe that taking up. What's his name? That's why.
I mean, I want in.
Gordon.
Yeah.
I want in that hall, and I also would love to see that firearm. So,
So perhaps,
What's file?
perhaps you are correct.
What's file?
firearm.
Oh, firearm. I thought you said file.
Fireball.
You seem very interested in getting in to see a file.
So maybe it is a situation where we can, like you said, split forces, and those of us that are not comfortable with perhaps being framed as Gordon and Professor Knack want to do.
He just seems like a great
He seems like a Gregor. I have it written down and I keep saying it. Those of us that are more comfortable can go and see the opal fields and explore that option.
I'm down for the
Yeah, sure,
opera.
I'll do that.
I'm going to the opera. Can't frame me.
She's going to bring.
So who wants to go to the talent thing, and who wants to go to the very shady, we're gonna frame you gun secrets thing?
Gun secrets.
Firearm secret things.
It seems like everyone wants to go to the opal fields.
No.
You don't?
No.
What kind of records did he say were in there?
Everything.
From just
That's fine. I
Quran?
want to do the shady thing. I have experiences at the opal field, and I'd prefer not to have to go back.
They also might recognize you, which would
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, let's not do that.
what are we doing?
So some of us are going to the opal field, and some of us are going to the shady, probably going to end in arrest and death mission.
Well, your last night on Earth. Let's do it.
If it was my last night on Earth, this is certainly not what I would be doing.
LOL.
Or
I'm
who?
spending with Benevolence again. Yeah, that was a
High
better
five.
version of the joke.
Wait, Sarah, where has my boy been this whole time? I forgot I'm a mom. Sarah, where is my boy?
In your headboard.
He has been in the in room,
Okay, great.
and when you come back in today, you discover that he's torn apart 3 pillows,
Oh.
and he's just
I'm
sitting, and he's
scared.
just sitting in the middle of them.
I'm going to punish him.
Wait, you said it's the next day?
Alright,
No,
so
it's that day that you're all like
I can
discussing,
screw
but like
up.
it's been like 4 days of you kind of like just being like, all right, bye, and then coming back, and then bye, and coming back, and so on this particular day, he has like torn apart 3 pillows.
You petulant child.
Are brews done?
They would be done at this point.
Yeah.
And he hisses and he like goes and burrows under the feathers.
I'm disappointed.
And he goes, me too!
You can use your adult words, you little brat.
And he like pokes his head out and he goes, I'm disappointed.
Well, you
and
should
then
have said that before I left.
he just like runs out and snaps at your feet a little bit and then
You're
runs
like
back under a bed.
100-year-old. You cannot keep acting like this. I need to find like a water bottle mix. You stop that. You can use your adult words next time if you have complaints.
And he's just like, you just hear light growling from under the bed.
All of your mothers and me are very disappointed.
And then you all like hear just,
Probably
me
make it better.
too!
I remember she's gonna like toss him a scrap of meat and sit down next to the side of the bed.
Wow, way to undermine my entire rant.
Has
I mean, we
Thompson
did leave
had
him
any
alone
other
during
like
He's 100
revelations about what you said in
We
these
have no way of
things?
knowing.
No, but he's probably been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
So, anyone want to go see Knack?
I'm not going to the opal field. I'll go see Knack.
I perhaps will go see Knack. Something about him struck a chord, you could say.
Or you just want to follow me?
Red quartz? Would say
Perhaps.
Alright, so far I have Rinna, Tenzin, and Claudius are going to go see Knack. And Angerod is going to the Opal Fields.
With Sophine and remember?
I would stay with hits.
remember staying with this.
Good night.
Okay.
No, just like in character. I don't think there's any reason for her to like,
Would it go either way?
yeah. And she'd be much more like, oh shit, left her child alone. That's not okay.
Yeah, I assumed he was in my hood the whole time, and then I was like, oh no, where's my son?
Okay, so far I have Sophine and Angerod for the Opal Fields.
You and me, kid. Me and you. You and me.
Alright,
The
so
party split.
this is the first time that y'all are actually splitting the party.
Yes.
What poisons did we do?
I don't know, that was your thing,
We
dude.
did like death well, not like death poison, but straight regular poison.
Okay.
We did,
It was a sleep thing, a
Sleep.
poison thing, and then there was one other thing.
and then it wasn't vomit.
Yeah. It was that one. It was a sick
I
thing.
do hope we don't die.
Was it vomit?
Yeah, it was sick, sleep, and dead.
Well, that was just
And then
regular
you
poison.
are not gonna continue.
Noise.
Yeah, I just like I don't think she'd really go
Yeah.
either way. I know it would make a lot more sense for her to like stay with him and make sure that he's not getting into trouble. So,
Alright, so we are going to go ahead and do Knack first, because Opal Fields is a nighttime thing.
I'm just, for the record, giving Safine a makeover right now. I am
yeah.
making Safine fancy to fit into this fancy
You are not
atmosphere.
touching my hair.
I can touch it. It's okay. I can do it.
And just a lot of
I
hand
have this
flapping.
beautiful oil. It smells like lavender. It smells like a flower. You like
I
flowers?
don't know how to braid my hair.
You like
again,
flowers? I don't have to braid.
I don't like this.
You can tell. Also, I know how to make you look fancy in a way that might blend in a little bit better.
She like reluctantly takes all of her hair out. She's,
Whips it.
I'm going to braid my own hair.
Okay, so y'all would be hanging out with Remember. Like just doing a makeover.
Remember to remember.
Just like she.
Miranda
A fave.
Hangout has small heart attack.
That is exactly how it works.
Okay,
Do you want
so
lipstick as well?
and you just hear
I mean, you could be a boy and then have lipstick.
and he
But
just
no.
hisses again and he's just mad.
Oh,
He's just mad.
it's okay.
He's
I
just
still
mad.
love
He's
you.
not mad, he's just disappointed.
Disappointed.
That's his new word for mad, is disappointed. So you guys go ahead and it takes a little bit of asking around before you
I was gonna say prep-wise before we go.
Okay.
I'm going to prep some needles in my needler because it is concealed, and I might need that. How many needles can I load into it at once, or is it just one needle?
We said that it can hold like 10 or 12.
Okay, because I have 10 needles.
It can hold 10
So
needles.
it's like it works almost like a magazine.
Yeah, like you essentially just load them into the top and then it will fire them out.
It's about midday, yeah?
I'm gonna.
It's
something to
still
do?
roughly mid-morning.
Oh, it's morning.
Yeah, it's still
Okay,
yeah.
before we leave, I tell Rinna to hang on since we're in the same room and I pull up the salt. And I just go into the corner so she can't hear what I'm saying. And
Okay.
I rub the salt and
How
then
big is this room?
slowly put my gloves on.
He's muttering at a corner, so it
Yeah.
would be pretty.
I'm like, okay, let's go.
Great. Creepy ritual done. Let's go.
The first 4 needles I'm loading,
Mm-hmm.
I dipped in the sleep poison, or the sleep the sleep serum,
Okay.
and then I'll have the other needles
Nice.
loaded in after that. Probably with.
I feel like this is like an army
I'll just do the
montage.
first
Like I'm
one.
like
Yeah.
loading my pistols,
Say that
strapping
again?
down the books.
I'm gonna do the first 4
Yeah,
needles.
I have my sword and I'm just
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I can't quite
So
hear
the first
Daniel.
4 are gonna be sleep, and then the other ones are just gonna be normal.
Okay.
And then I'm loading in
Okay.
my throwing stuff, my shurikens, got a dagger, and then I just my fists. I like it's like that.
We have a
they're
little
doing
like gear up montage. Yeah, yeah.
Rinna's like getting her picks and like putting
Yeah.
them in.
She like
Rinna-
ties
Rinna
down my
just-
wings and I like put on my overcoat.
You have like an extra pick you put into your hair.
I also tied like a specific knot so that if I need to untie your wings, I can just pull it and they can.
I like sharpen my teeth a little bit.
Kevin's just like
For that,
tying
I'm
up
just-
the straps around his legs and his arms wrapping his hands.
I really like the military
Dun-dun-dun.
montage.
We're just like
Okay.
So
Nick snacks.
so knickknacks.
So you guys go ahead and you head out into the tier, and it takes a bit of talk, like a bit of asking around and asking for directions. Like even you aren't quite sure where it is. Like yeah, you come into Watervale, but you're like not like walking down the main
What about me?
streets kind of
Regular
thing.
traveler of Waterville. Frequent.
So frequent. Yeah, you're not. You think you remember. It might be that maybe that way.
Yeah.
You're not.
Oh, I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys go ahead and you get to Nick's Knacks, which is this windowed storefront with the script overhead, and it says "Finder of the unfindable, solver of the unsolvable" on like one on either side of the door. And as you enter in through the door, you hear just this soft bell chime. And Gordon is there, and he's dressed similarly as he was the day before, and he looks vaguely disappointed to see you. And he's like, "Oh, you came. Lovely. Weren't there more of you?"
Yeah,
Not
they just.
everyone was interested.
Oh, wait, I didn't know you were here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you follow it.
That's how it usually goes.
Rena's like,
Stealth. It's stealth all the time.
Cool.
24/7 stealth.
and he's like,
Best of the best.
"Is that why you're winking when you say that?"
No, it's a wink for you. It's to assure you that we are the best
that-
of the best.
That's not flirting, dear. Flirting is...
I'm
it's
not
all right.
flirting with you. If I was flirting with you, you'd know.
You'd know.
What does Gordon look like?
Be very.
Gordon is this mousy-haired human man who's a little on the tall side,
The
and
unicorn
just
would
like
have loved to.
Oh.
tan skin and just very nice clothes.
Is Professor Knack in?
No, he went out to go fetch another breakfast because he's had 2 already, and dear gods, the world would end if he didn't have a third.
Yes, I get that.
All right,
So,
well, you can go ahead and just wait here, and he'll return. Please don't break anything, because then I would have to charge you for it. And, like, now you kind of are getting a chance to, like, look around the room, and it's
Look
just,
around
like,
the shop.
it's just bits and baubles of everything. Like, you see something that you know for sure is just, like, a maple leaf that has been, like, pressed into, like, some stone or some kind of, like, brickwork, and it's being labeled as, like, a fossil of the ancient ones, and, like, it's little just... It's essentially like a tourist trap, but you can find... basically, but you can find a couple things that, like, oh, yeah, that is worth what they're asking. Oh, yeah, okay, like, that makes sense. Like, so, but...
Any cool keys?
Go ahead and roll perception.
Nah.
Okay. You don't see anything
Nah.
that stands out.
Well, while we're looking around,
Oh yeah,
Does-
I'll roll for some.
is there any type of like machinery or kind of like devices, something that might seem like practical or useful or?
There's quite a bit. Like, there's, like, a selection of gears. There's a selection of different, like, knobs and, like, levers and pulleys. And, like, there's, like, a whole little section
Anything that looks
for
like
these.
parts that I could use for my upcoming.
Most of these are, like, mechanical
Okay.
pieces. Like, you can see some things where it's, like, it's even labeled, like, clack replacement. And it's, like, different legs and different, like, knobs and fixtures. And none of it looks like it really goes together. This looks like it's just a knick-knack shop. Like, there's just tons of stuff everywhere.
Great.
There are, like, a selection of rolled up maps kind of, like, in the wall. There's, like, a couple different, like, places where maps have been shoved in.
Okay, go look through the maps.
Yeah, I look over his shoulder looking for something specific
Okay.
to see if it shows up.
Okay.
Something about like upper tier or stuff like that.
Okay, so you go ahead and you start, like, rifling through the shelves, and Gordon kind of pauses in his, like, cleaning and, like, organizing duties to, like, make sure you're not breaking anything. But when he sees what you're looking through, he, like, kind of goes back to his job. And you can see it's not really, like, specific to Huron. It's mostly, like, regional maps, and it almost looks like these are, like, a traveler's maps. Like, they drew these up as they were, like, walking through the area. Like, yeah, this is the direction that the road went, and this is, like, the way that the river went. And when you, like, flip them over and check, it even says, like, how long it took to make the map, and, like, what the weather was like at the time of year that they made the map and stuff. So these are definitely, like,
Did any of
a
them have
traveler's
the
map.
city I care about on it?
Not the ones that he's looking at.
Okay, cool.
I might perhaps have to come back here and get one of these when we set out on the road again. They're quite lovely maps.
And Gordon's like, oh, yes, Professor Knack likes to keep busy on his travels, and he just sort of sketches up everywhere he's been.
Some nice nicks.
Please don't humor him when he gets here. Please, I'm begging you, dear gods above.
I give the
Please,
forced
I'm
smile.
begging you. And as he's
He seems
like,
kind of fun to egg on.
and
you
as
know?
he's begging you, you hear the chime, and then you hear, Gordon, what are you hassling them about? And he's like,
He was just telling us about the gentleman's.
we were discussing the job, sir. We were discussing the job.
He was telling us about the history of the ancient weapons that you had found.
And he like walks up, and he has like bags of pastries, and he's, no, what? Ain't history? No, that's hardly that old. Like, we're only, and he's like toddling off with like his next breakfast, and he's like, oh, well, yeah, so you were interested in taking the job then?
Do I get any feelings?
You don't get any like feelings, but like you're definitely, you're watching very intently.
That makes me feel great.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Am I speaking for us, I guess?
Great. Let me see. Sorry, just I need to check. And he's like, Gordon, will you watch the shop front for me? And we'll go discuss the job in the back. And he's like, I really think that I should be the one. No, it'll be fine, Gordon. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Gordon.
And Gordon's like,
Knickknacks. Watch yourself.
and Gordon's like,
Yeah, Gordon, watch the shop.
I will watch the front of house,
The Knicks.
sir.
Man, who was the dude on the train in like the first arc of Adventure Zone who they just shit on and it ended up being the bad guy? I feel like this is like.
I feel like Gordon is pulling the strings here.
Yeah.
And so,
He takes his final form as Gordon Ramsay.
don't test me. I will write that in.
I'll
So,
take it.
Professor Knack takes you into the back, and this looks very similar to the room at the hub, but this one has like more strings. This one has like even like just notes upon notes and more maps that like he's
Like the
drawn.
meme of Charlie Day, where he's like,
Like the meme of
Okay.
Charlie Day. But there are also like glass cases of what look like artifacts.
Ooh.
And some of them are a brighter metal than you've ever seen in your life. Some of them look like they're just old and black and like husks of maybe like a winged form. You're not quite sure, but there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff in here. And he sets one of the bags down and it kind of falls over and pastries spill across the table and he brushes away some crumbs. And so, it's just the three of you then.
Yeah.
Great. So, do you have any other questions or no? Gordon's usually...
I would like to
where do we
emphasize that I want every piece of information you have on this. Nothing held back.
Well, why would I hold anything back if I want you to find it?
I think that Gordon is,
Gordon is suspicious of everyone and everything.
don't worry, you can trust us. Can I roll for it?
Professor
Roll
Knack,
deception.
19. Oh.
No, not 19.
So close.
14.
if we offer,
I mean, can you trust everyone who comes through here?
I can't trust anyone who comes through
If we
here, but you
enter-
just proved my point.
into this agreement,
Thanks.
we will both have to trust each other.
Precisely. I'll be trusting you to bring the artifact back to me and not make off with it. And you will be trusting me to not send you to prison. It's great.
He doesn't
I
know our
think it
names,
works
does he?
really well.
If you don't mind me asking, Professor, where are you from?
A bit of everywhere, really. Well, born and raised in Iran, and then just like
No, I
traveled
was saying
this
that out of
way and
character.
traveled that way. I wanted to see the world quite a
Yeah.
bit in my younger
doesn't.
years.
No, he doesn't.
Now let me see.
he doesn't.
What was your name?
Oh, Caliban.
It's not.
Go ahead and roll deception.
Thank God forbid you bring that name.
Shit. 9.
I can still probably get you thrown into prison, even if you give me the wrong name. Gordon's got weird pulls with places, so...
I just don't like going by that was my nickname in the army, Claudius.
Claudius. Thank you, Claudius. And, you, miss? You know, when you take a long time to answer, then I believe you even less. So, just give me your name. I mean, you know my name. You know where my store is.
I also don't have any dirt to get you in prison, but my name is Renna Isley.
All right, and then you. What was your name?
Tenzin.
Tenzin. Go ahead and roll deception.
Claudio.
You say Tenzin.
Yeah.
That's how I spelled it for the first half of my notebook. So.
Yep.
Not one.
He heard Tenzin.
Tenzin. Great.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, how exactly do you intend on framing us if we don't follow through with our end of the deal?
Oh, I don't know any of that. That's Gordon's area of expertise.
Classic
Gordon's the frickin'
Insight.
worst.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, I couldn't lie my way out of a paper bag. I just sort of pay people and then they turn a blind eye. But no, if I tried to lie about something, that would just suck for everyone. So I don't. And I hired Gordon and he does the lying for me. And it works great. And then you hear Gordon yell, "Stop telling people that!" And he's like,
I love this relationship.
Great.
Alright, so, yeah, we have our names.
Suppose we should hear some details.
How do we find the gun? Or gentleman's voice?
Firearm.
Firearm.
The twin of the prototype. You really have to use the correct terminology. Otherwise, it's just boring.
How do we find the twin of the prototype?
My gods, you're natural at this. So, from what I understand, the prototype originally was sold from a merchant who was traveling from the northwest of Iran. Now, I understand that there are some ruins there, but the prototype didn't look like it came from ruins, so that just doesn't make any sense. However, that area is a bit treacherous. Now, I've tried to go out there myself, and I almost lost a foot. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It might have been magic. It might have just been... Well, who knows what it was. But I started trying to hire people to head up that way, and they would just give up. And they would still head into the Hall of Records, and so then they got arrested, which... You don't get... Gordon, you said they don't get paid if they don't do the job? And you just hear a sigh and, yes, sir. Right, so they don't get paid if they don't do the job. So, my theory is that it's likely in the ruins. Now, it's a trek up there. It might take some time, but I won't fault you for taking your time.
Ruins of what?
Well,
Do we have the map?
I don't know. Actually, it's in the box.
There's ruins in Garan.
Sold.
Damn it, I should have gone with you guys.
You definitely should have.
I know.
Well, we're not going to be leaving anytime soon.
We're still in Knick-Knack shop.
I legitimately went because Sophie would legitimately rather.
Well, we can get the rest of the party to come with us.
I know what I'm saying. It's going to be a long. It's the ruins aren't close, so if we're going to be here for a little bit longer until we can talk to the king properly, and then venture out. I don't know. We'll see. But we're not just going to leave right from here.
Any luck, I'm gonna
Here you go.
hopefully give us a way to do that.
Yeah.
If you want to
Oh, they're
pass
there.
it to the Daniel. can see it too.
That is just ruins, right? That wasn't...
Yeah, that's just ruins. That's been on the map this whole time.
Okay.
Those are the ruins, though.
Yeah.
What he's talking about.
How far is of a travel is that?
That's probably about 2 weeks of travel, because there's no road to it. It's not even really something like Like, the fact that it's not labeled on this map is a reason. It's not labeled. It's just something that has been there
To the top left.
for as long as people can remember, kind of thing.
Water bill. So, if we decide to give up, we're not in trouble unless we try to access.
The Hall of Records. Exactly. Well, still, I understand it's dangerous. I understand it's a trek, and I understand that I am getting the fun part of the loot. I'm sure that there's other things in the ruins, and if you find other things, regrettably, you're welcome to them. I would love to see them. However, if you find that there are interesting tidbits there, they are yours to keep. I just request the twin prototype. That's all. We have ways of knowing if you've gone into the Hall of Records or not. It's fine. And if we find that you've gone into the Hall of Records when you have not brought us the prototype back, that is when we'll have a problem.
I think we're good.
That makes sense.
Alright.
Where did it go?
Yes, he's about to spend 2 weeks with Benevolence.
Sorry, just let me find. Now, the one thing that I have for you that I can give you is the way to the Hall of Records. I will show you down that way. Well, no one really sees me if I don't want them to see me. It's a bit great that way. So, Gordon, we're going to go to the Hall of Records. And he's like, you don't have to shout it that loud. What if there was someone in the shop? And he's like, I would have heard the bell, as he's like getting things together. And he hands you a map. Now, we're going to be going down into the sewers.
Yum.
And that's how we get to the back door of the Hall of Records. It's rather disgusting, and there are creepy crawlies down there, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Wait, where are we right now?
While because we're in the back area of his shop,
Mhm.
can I do a perception check around there to see if there's anything like about him or personal items or something going on? Yeah, I have that blacked out. 18?
Yeah, so looking around, you see, like, it's definitely the room of someone who has traveled a lot. Like, not all of this is, like, artifacts that he found wherever he found them in some deep dungeon somewhere. Like, some of them are, like, a little bauble that looks like it might have been painted in relief from everything that, like, Remember wears. And you see something else that looks like it's a dried flower, similar to the ones that grew over oolocks. And you also see a banner for the display, similar to the ones that they sell when displays are on.
So you said the dried flowers, the banner for display.
And then, like, some glass bauble, like blown glass, yeah.
By chance, where did you get that banner?
Oh gods, no one really, you don't talk about, alright, so you're not really from here, are you?
No.
That's from Adcord. Well, don't, if anyone knew I had it, sales would probably plummet, but gods, it's interesting there.
How did you come to possess that banner?
Well, I bought one.
We could just tell everyone.
Yes, they have this gods, it's a savage display of magic, which quite beautiful, mind, but it is savage. Sometimes they just die. It's horrible, really.
I'm familiar. When were you there?
Ages ago. But yes, so let's go down and we'll get you to the Hall of Records and then you can get me my prototype. Does that sound good?
Yes.
I suppose so.
Okay.
Now, who is good at bribing guards?
I suppose
Bribing
that would
guards.
be me. Right?
Or maybe him.
Yeah, you
He's the one
must be
paying
pretty
us.
good at this.
Well, I have to show you the way. Gordon has a specific way that I'm supposed to do this, so that otherwise he gets very cross.
Does he have to know?
Rena, you can bribe them.
Gordon, do you have to know? And he's like,
God.
no, what, sir? Do
He
you
doesn't.
have to
No,
know
he doesn't.
exactly
He
how?
doesn't-
What?
He doesn't need to know. Come on. Is he controlling you?
He controls most of my assets because otherwise I almost bought a temple down in Berlin, and he probably would have been really mad if I did that.
That sounds awesome.
Right? Doesn't it sound awesome? And then
should.
he goes, buy that temple. Right, so.
Let's go to the sewers.
Do it your way.
Top lad, if you will.
All right, Gordon, take care of the shop. Can you get me my trousers? And he starts to go, and he's, no, my other ones, the other trousers. And he goes off, and he comes back with like an identical pair, and he's like, yes, my adventure trousers. And he like changes his
Did he
pants.
say that out loud?
Yes, and
I'm
he
just
like
the
and he like
trousers.
and he changes his pants, and as he's like pulling off the one pair, he's like, yes, these are my business trousers, and then I have my adventure trousers, and then I have my fighting trousers, and then I have my tea trousers, and then I have my lady
Right,
trousers.
that's just
lots
and
of
then-
trousers and lots of
Adventure
occasions
trousers.
and trousers
Let's go to the
and
And he
sewers.
like
that's
pulls
that's
on
adventure.
And mind you, like Gordon is then like lifts the pair of trousers he was just wearing, and they're identical to the ones that he changed into. And so he goes ahead and he like slings on this smart little cape, and he leads you out of the shop. And I'll wait until Daniel gets back. So
He's been drinking a lot of water.
Gallon of water.
How long is it going to take us to get to the hall once we enter the sewers?
It's going to take you a while because it's a maze puzzle.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
maze puzzle?
Well, not necessarily a puzzle, but like he's going to kind of just let you like. All right, here you go.
In an aside to Tamsin, what was up with the banner?
It's, from where I come from.
Fascinating. Orphan boy days. Anyway.
Well, not necessarily where I came from. Where I came from last.
Yay, maze puzzles!
All right. Hold on, give me 1 second. Do you guys? I forgot to mark down where the entrance like is in connection to like where y'all are. So do you want? Well, I have a copy. Like I have 2 printed out so that I could give you guys one to look at, and then have this one.
My handwriting's trash, so
He's putting on rat noises.
It's a sewer.
Yeah.
This sounds like Rampage.
R-U-S?
Okay, where's our...
What is it? I don't think it is.
Alright. So,
Okay, so go ahead
are
and
there people there when we enter the sewers or anything like that?
no. So he goes at you. Actually, leave the middle tier.
Okay.
And he leads you down to the lower tier, and you go down, and again, like you've been up in the middle and upper tiers more now, so seeing the lower tier, it kind of like hits you a little bit of the difference between the two.
Rock on folk.
And he leads you to E on the map, and as you approach, there's actually someone sitting there that looks like they're just kind of like rifling through bits and pieces.
I'm gonna stealthily hide behind probably Claudius
Okay.
so that I am not very visible.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seen.
So he goes ahead and he like glances around and he goes up to the person who's kind of like shuffling around, and they look like they're kind of like limping a little bit, and he goes up to him and he's, my friend, you look like you could use a hot meal. a hot meal and, you know what, take 2. And he, like, pats their hand, and then you see it's not stealthy at all. He just very clearly puts a small purse of money in their hand, and they immediately straighten and walk away. And he goes up to this entrance and withdraws a small iron key, and he fits it into the lock, and he opens it up, and you head into the sewer. And hold on, let me mark. So he leads you.
Led us to E.
He led you to E.
Oh, that's where we're starting.
Okay. And now, Rita, the area that he actually just led you to, around that area, you know is a drop point for thieves.
Mm-hmm.
And so you actually haven't really used the sewers much, simply because you're well aware that the Crown has paid and keeps kobolds down in the sewers as like security and kind of cleaning things up. They literally pay kobolds to live and hunt in the sewers.
Love that.
And so it's really not safe for thieves to use that as a go-between, even though it probably would be useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cost far outweighs the benefit of
Right.
simple thieves' work when it comes to what could be in the sewers.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
So you go ahead, and he very quietly and quickly leads you. He leads you out and leads you down the passageway, and like down here. Oh wait, I had a whole description of what the sewers are like. Let's get to it. Nope, that was my other thing. So the sewers reek of mildew, filth, and tar. There's black ichor dripping from cracks in the stone walls, and there is a river of sludge that's flowing between the 2 raised walkways. And while these walkways are clean of debris, there is still an overwhelming assortment of what are probably poisonous mushrooms, weeds, and algae. And along this walkway are branching paths, and the stonework is roughly patched in several dozen places as you continue your venture. And he very quickly leads you this way and that, and honestly, he's so quick, and he darts into the shadows and out of the shadows so quickly. Like, the slightest little noise, he'll pull your cloaks and pull you into an alcove that you didn't really see half a second before, and you'll hear the soft, like, chittering and claw scraping of the kobolds as they're making
Can I be
their way
like
through.
making note of like mentally where we're going?
Yeah. So you guys are like, you're definitely. I need you to roll. Just go ahead and roll perception.
10.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
16.
Okay. So Claudius, you're definitely going to need someone to show you the way again.
Do
Part
you
of
know
it.
the way?
Part of it is because it's very claustrophobic in here. It's almost like a mine. It's so like tightly knit and
God.
just like it's.
Am I
and
like
these tunnels-
freaking out?
That's up to Claudius.
Yeah, I'm
So-
freaking out. I'm like
so
having
these-
like flashbacks.
Like when I say that the sewers are like cloistered in, like there are some tunnels that he ducks through that he's like, all right, you're really gonna have to duck here, and it's like a 4 foot tall.
I'm like very hesitant. They have to like push me to go through.
I just kind of like have his shirt the whole time, and I'm sort of shoving him forward.
Yeah, and so
I wanted to do this.
I
Get it in gear.
didn't want to do this.
like there are times when he takes a plank of wood that looks like it was just kind of propped up against the wall and lays it over like the river of sludge, and as soon as he's over it, he very discreetly props the wood up against the wall again, and finally he leads you up and up and up, and it never really loses that cloistered in feeling. It never really loses like the stone walls. All of that is pretty much the same, but you can feel the tilt as you go higher. You can feel things shifting this way and that. You can see that at some points points, the archways leading off down passageways get a little bit higher, and I need all of you to roll perception.
22.
Is that like
10.
9?
Claudius, as like you are so freaked out by this, like you're trying to find things to focus in on and ground yourself so that you don't completely go batshit down here. And you can see as you pass, you pause and you can see that it looks like a spool of thread carved into the stone. And you're like, no, that wasn't a crack. Like that was someone definitely like put that there on purpose. And you go left and you go right and you like end up turning back around and you go another way. And God, that one looked like, was that a crack or no? That kind of looked like a loot and it's just a passageway going off somewhere. But eventually you do come to this raised platform that's almost 4 feet tall, and it takes him like a jump or two to grab his hands up and pull up. Go ahead and make athletics to follow.
Me?
Athletics, yeah, because it's taller than you are.
Oh, yeah.
But like you guys, it would take you a
Can I
minute to
help
like
him?
get up there. Yeah, you can help.
So
Yeah, if you're helping him, then you get up with
okay.
Claudius's help.
I'm just trying to get out of there as fast as I
Yeah,
can.
and
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
he leads you to this door, and sure enough, like there's another padlock thing here, and he notably like he's been kind of hurrying this whole time. Either he doesn't like it down here, or he just is like a little like quick on his feet. But he gets to the end of this door, and he's all right. So this would be the Hall of Records, and when you go through this passageway and you get through this grate, then you'll go out into the grate of the floor in what seems to be some sort of sauna in the records. Well, Gordon thinks that someone lives there and that it's a house of some kind. So when you go out of this sauna room, then you will actually get into a hallway. All you have to go down is 2 doors, and it's on your left, and there's the Hall of Records. The door is locked to get in, but here you are. This is the back door to the Hall of Records.
Can you take us in?
Do you want to go in right now?
Why not?
Why would we?
Well, we can see a first-hand look at this information, and if we fail to find the gun, then we will still have been able to come in here without having to risk life and limb, yes?
I'm not giving you any information. I'm showing you the back door to it.
Right.
If you want to go in right now and you haven't gotten me the prototype, Gordon will have you arrested.
Not if you don't tell him.
You really think I'm going to do that?
I'm sorry, and you said the instructions from here are what exactly?
You go through this locked door, you follow up the passageway, up through the grate in the floor, which is surprisingly large, and then you're in some sort of room. You leave the room, go to the left.
Which way do you leave the room?
To the left. You go to the left, go down 2 doors, and it's the door on your left. Second door on your left. Right. And then he like turns
That
around.
sounds pretty convenient for you not to lead us. You said you were going to show us, but
Insight check and make sure he's not lying.
Okay.
Nice.
17.
No, he's being truthful. Like
Okay.
that's how you get in there.
I think that it's just smarter to do it the way he's asking to,
Makes sense.
you know? I have no interest in getting arrested, so...
Lovely. Neither do I. And he like scurries back down and like hops down the ledge.
follow
Oh.
after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he leads you back through the winding, twisting corridor of sewer, and he leads you out through the grate and locks it behind him. And then he retrieves a second key and hands it to you. Right.
Take
So
the
that's
key.
so that's how you get into the
I
sewer.
take the key.
So that's how you get into the sewer. And well, find me that prototype. I need it.
Are we out of the sewer now?
Yeah, he bolted, leading you out of there.
Do we remember our way through?
Who was it that rolled super high?
I did at first, and then he did the second time.
Yeah, you definitely remember the way out of there.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna use the restroom really quick, and then I think some people are very sleepy, so I don't know if you want to continue or if you want to pause it there. Okay, we're now recording again.
So basically, after he leads us out, it's like that's how you get him.
Mhm.
Are we supposed, if we provide you with the twin of the prototype, and we desire to go into the hall, do we need to pay said man at the front of the sewers?
Well, not if you find another way into the sewer, or it's really his job to kind of watch the comings and goings. He's paid to watch, and he's paid to not watch. Today I paid him to not watch.
I see. And he watches everybody.
As far as I'm aware.
Interesting.
And it's more beneficial for him to watch or not watch than it is to rat on anyone.
Unless, of course, it suits somebody to have him rat on somebody.
Pretty much. So if you see that someone has paid him to go away for a little while, then that's when you go in. It's free of charge. But I'm sure that there's other ways in and out.
Alright.
Okay? So,
When was it you said you were in?
some time ago, I can't exactly recall when. And he's just taking you back up to the middle tier now.
I'm
Okay?
gonna ask him another question now that you've let it dead silent.
And so, here's how things close for the night. Even though you guys have the key to the opal fields, you spend so long discussing the treks into the sewers, you spend so long discussing how you're going to get up to these ruins, what these ruins could be, that by the time you guys really realize what time it is, it's too late for you to go. You're not sure what you're going to find there, you're not exactly sure what you're going to have to do to get in, and so you're like, you know what, we'll take care of that tomorrow night. Now we are we have the ways into the sewer, we'll take care of the opal fields later. And everyone heads to bed. And Rinna, sometime throughout that day, you received a very slick handoff of, you have a pickup tonight. And so you go to make the pickup. Do you leave a note for everyone saying, I'll
Does
be right
it wake
back?
me up? Wake me up inside.
Are you a light sleeper? I can't remember.
I mean, I don't know. I sleep on the floor.
He sure as hell wasn't military, so that doesn't factor in.
Yeah, her leaving might wake you. So, would you say anything to her, or would you just, okay. Would you leave a note, or would you just go?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave a note.
What would the note say?
Okay, bye.
Duty calls. I hope our paths cross again.
Okay. So, you leave this note laying on your pillow, and you head off to the drop-off site. And so you get there, and according to, the essentially thieves' camp that you've got, is that you have a pickup that needs to be delivered to X and such a place at such and such a time. And so you get there, and you've had so much going on that you're not as watchful as you should be. You're not as observant as you should be. And by the time you get to the pickup location, you realize this is not someplace that's ever a pickup location. This is not someplace that's ever a drop-off location. And
This isn't even a real location.
you are in an enclosed room with no windows, just the one door that you came in through. And you hear this and just this hissing heeled shoes. And you hear voices speaking in unison, saying, "Oh, but it is a thing to turn one's face from the gods." And then you feel hands on you, and you fight. You fight hard. And then you feel something close around your neck. And you hear something in your head. And you realize that there is a blue stone on a necklace tied around
Don't
your
I have
throat.
my hush hush?
They've stripped you of everything.
They took it from me.
And as this voice resonates louder than you've ever heard in your head, your hands are bound and your feet are bound and a sack is pulled over your head and you're carried off into the darkness.
And my last word is, I wish they had a name.